Hi, this is Frank. This is the Maker's Mob Scrapwood Challenge. When I made the drawers for the new storage near the CNC machine, I cut up a lot of plywood strips, and I ended up with a lot of little pieces of nice birch plywood. So my thought was to make these into a mallet using the pattern from the plywood. I also have a bunch of little walnut strips from various projects. And because the pieces of plywood weren't really big enough for the diameter of mallet I wanted to make, I needed to make those pieces of plywood into sort of bigger pieces. And instead of just gluing the pieces together on edge, I thought it would be nice to use some of these walnut strips to go in the seams between the little pieces of plywood to sort of celebrate the seam between the plywood. So I cut those strips to the thickness of the plywood, hoping that when I glued everything together, I would get a built-up plate of the different kinds of wood that's all the same thickness. And I cut the strips to shorter lengths that I needed. My first attempt at gluing the pieces together was to glue a whole series together at once, so that I would be getting 5 of the layers of plywood at once. But this didn't really work as well as I'd hoped, as it wasn't really flat. And I needed these to be flat, as the idea was going to be to stack up these layers into a solid block that I could turn into a mallet. What ended up working was to glue each one of these pieces together separately. I could put glue on the 4 pieces of plywood and the strip of walnut that goes between the plywood at the same time. Then put each layer together in one shot. And if I just held it in place for a few seconds, it would stay, and I could just let it dry without having to clamp each piece. So even though I was doing each layer separately, this went fairly quickly because each glue up was fairly fast. I cut up the strips that I had made at first, and I trimmed down the individual pieces so they'd be closer to a square. Then I carefully sanded each side of each layer. This was the tricky and a little bit dangerous part. I wanted the joint between each layer to be absolutely tight without any gaps. So even though all the pieces were the same thickness, they weren't exactly perfectly flat. That's where the sanding came in. To help hold these in alignment as I glued them together in a stack, I drilled a hole in the middle of each layer that I could thread a dowel through as I glued the stack together. And having the dowel in the middle allowed me to put a twist into the pattern of the walnut strips, twisting each layer as they went up the stack. And I did this glue up in 3 or 4 sections, sort of clamping everything together and letting it sit for 10 to 15 minutes, and then starting the next section. And the dowel really helped keeping everything aligned. I'm excited to be second in this Maker's Mob Scrapwood Challenge series. Starting May 1st, for 6 weeks, a different Maker's Mob maker will be doing a free Scrapwood Challenge. To coincide with this video, there will be a free, more in-depth video on the Maker's Mob describing this project. Please check out the link in the description. I can start working on the handle section. I used some more of the walnut strips that I had and glued those together to make a cylinder that I could turn for the handle. I started by gluing up the smaller pieces into sort of wide plate sections. Then I jointed those and glued those bigger pieces together to get closer to a cylinder. and the head section is all glued up. And you can see how the twist works. It's kind of cool even not being turned at this point, just with the pattern. So to attach the handle to the head, I wanted to make a mortise and tenon. So a hole in the head and then a tenon on the handle section. So I needed to be able to hold the head section on the drill press. So I cut off some of the twisty points on the head piece so that I could hold that on the drill press. I needed a big hole that was very accurate, so I needed to be able to hold the workpiece very well, so it wouldn't move while I was drilling the hole with a large bit. So I used the screw clamp to hold the workpiece, and then I clamped the clamp down to the drill press table, and this worked really well. I think this bit is fairly sharp too, as I haven't used it much. There's the hole. I think it's about 2 inches deep. I can get the handle glue up ready to go on the lathe. So I cleaned up the ends and I cut an X into one end, and this will be the drive side. And I'll use a drive center on the lathe, which will fit into that X. And I drilled a small hole for the tailstock to fit into. I can turn the tenon first, and I'll make about a 2-inch section into a cylinder at one end. Then I can work on the very end and see if I can get a cylinder that will fit into the hole that I drilled on the drill press. And I'll work on just a little bit right at the end so that if I go too far, I haven't lost very much length on my handle piece. Then once I have the end at about the right size, I can move that diameter down the length of the cylinder. I had to pull the piece off several times to check the size. One thing that's nice about the drive center and the tailstock set up this way, I can pull the piece off and put it back on again really quickly. And it finally fit. And I managed not to go too small with the tenon. I can glue the two pieces together. And this is just a matter of getting glue on every surface. One issue is that the glue makes an airtight seal in the cylinder. You're sort of making a cylinder and piston, and you pack a bunch of air into the bottom of the hole. So it takes some force to get the two together. I wanted to glue a little scrap piece of wood to the end of the head side for the tailstock to bite into. I can put the whole piece on the lathe now and start turning. Someone on Instagram, when I was posting photos of this in process, asked whether I had any tips about turning plywood like this. And in thinking about it, I don't know that I really have turned plywood like this. And I discovered quite quickly that it's hard. It turns really slowly. I think because it's the side of the plywood, so it's half end grain, and there's glue between every layer of plywood, and there's glue between my glue ups. So there's a lot of glue that you're turning, that's being turned as well. Turning the plywood section was really slow, and it took a really sharp chisel that dulled fairly quickly. It was a huge difference between turning the head and the handle. The walnut turned really easily. It was like going through soft butter. I shortened the piece midway through and remounted the piece with the chuck instead of the drive center. This isn't so important at this point, but it will be when I do the ends of the mallet. I worked on the transition between the plywood and the walnut. I've done similar mallets to this in the past where I've got a joint between the head and the handle, which I've made on the CNC machine. So it's sort of more complicated and decorative than a mortise and tenon. So this was a little different for me. as the head was part of this transition. Then I did the top of the head, and I went over the plywood with a scraper. Then I worked on the transition section a little more and got the handle closer to finished. There's no real logic to the order of doing any of this. I just kind of do it as I feel like it needs to be done. I just kind of do it by feel. Here's sort of the whole process. I've taken the breaks and the pauses out, so it's just the turning part of the process. So it looks a lot smoother and faster than it really is. Now the form is basically done. And I can go to sanding. And the sanding on this is straightforward, as it's not very big and not very complicated. So it's just a matter of sanding everything. I think I went from 60 grit up to 1,000. And it feels good. I can work on the ends now. I cut off the little bit at the head, and I can put my steady rest on the lathe and do the end of the head. You can see now where the jaws holding the workpiece work a lot better for this. I tried some different options for cutting the end off, and I found a scrap piece that would work. I can put some jaws I made for holding the head of the mallet on, and this will let me turn the foot of the mallet, and it's just a matter of getting it round. Then I can sand, which goes really fast because there's such a small surface area to do here. It takes more time switching sandpaper than it does actually sanding. And it's complete. I can put finish on. I just put on walnut oil. So the walnut oil is fairly flat and soaks into the wood, and the shine is really there because I sanded it to 1,000 grit. It turned out really nice. The handle being made out of strips was a little bit of an experiment, and it worked better than I had thought it would. I'm not sure this is something I would actually hit things with, but it turned out really beautiful. Don't forget to check out the much more in-depth free tutorial of this project on the Maker's Mob in the link below. Thanks for watching.